I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
This is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, and this is from Mega Pork Chop Express, and it's for a film called Odd Thomas. Now, this is a Patreon request. Thank you so much for that. If anyone's ever interested in requesting any type of review, re-review, topic, reaction, what have you, you just send the request either directly to my PayPal or join me on my Patreon. Both links are down below. Now, Odd Thomas is based on a novel by Dean Koontz, who there's been films based on his stuff like Watchers, Phantoms, among others. Stars the late Anton Yelchin, which I do think is the best part of the film. I thought Anton Yelchin did a fairly good job in the role. You also have Willem Dafoe as this police officer who believes in Anton Yelchin's gifts, and they from time to time work together. Now, not having read the novel, I don't know how close it is to the material or not. Reading up on some stuff, it seems like people who are fans of the novel were quite happy with this adaptation. Granted, it's based on the novel, but when watching the film, it reminded me a bit of Constantine. Just the fact that you have this person that can see the paranormal. He can see things other people can't, and he uses that to fight and to hopefully save people. And you know, there's this whole world of like this buddy Patton Oswalt who'll make him stuff. And granted, not a whole lot like Constantine, but from time to time it just keep reminding me of that. Only I didn't think this film was as creative or as inventive. And that's kind of the thing I'm watching is I'm going, I can see why this went direct to video, because some of the CGI is not the best. And this is from Stephen Sommers, who did Deep Rising, which I love. He did The Mummy, The Mummy Returns, the first G.I. Joe movie. But even though, like I said, it didn't seem as creative as I thought with the idea that it would have been or could have been. I do think the story was at least interesting, because the story kind of played off, I don't want to say like a Columbo story, but like, you know, a mystery where he's trying to find out what's going on, because he keeps seeing these things, these invisible creatures, and if they're around, then trouble is going to be a brewing. And then he keeps seeing these images, like this faceless bowling team yelling "Save us" while being shot. Other people, this guy who has this thing on his head, so he nicknames him the Fungus Man. And pretty much him working with this girl who works at the ice cream shop, trying to figure out what's going on, where is this leading to, what's the end game. And I kind of like that it wasn't an end of the world scenario, because that that is something that's just overplayed. Is that, okay, is that lead to end of the world? Is there going to be some fucking thing that's going to shoot into the sky? Oh my god, we got to close the portal. No, it doesn't go that route. And that was refreshing, I will say that. Anton Yelchin's performance, I liked him. I liked the character. The reason he's called Odd is because it was a mistake. Technically he's named Todd, but then there's a mistake on the form, and so people keep calling him Odd. Also, because he sees things, like the very first scene, he chases this guy who murdered this girl and beats the fuck out of him. Grants the shaky cam, you didn't need that, but wasn't as awful as like Taken 2, Taken 3, but and it was cool to see Willem Dafoe. I like Willem Dafoe as an actor. It was cool to see him here as a good guy. Part of me is like, okay, is he going to become the bad guy? No, he doesn't, so that was nice. I thought he worked well with the girl who was his girlfriend. I thought they had some decent chemistry with each other. Like, watching the film, like I said, I can see why this wasn't in theaters, because it doesn't seem that big of a spectacle of a movie, at least for a good chunk of it. You know, they get chased to a church. Some things run around, like some things get blown around, they run away. And there are times where I'm going, is this leading somewhere? Like this whole stuff going on with this guy, and then needing this thing, but it's a steel heart. Okay, I'll take that, Patton Oswalt, thank you. And then, okay, this guy has a dead body and dumps it. I'm like, well, wait a minute, well, what about this whole bowling team that gets shot? For a good chunk of it, I'm like, so did that mean nothing? And this girl who also has dreams, so does he kind of have the power Odd Thomas has, or has the potential to have that power? Did that lead anywhere? But it does. That's the thing. You keep with it, and that's what I mean by the story. Like, the more it went on, the more interesting the story was. Because for the first half of this film, like, I don't know about this movie. I really don't. I'm not sure how I feel about this. It just, it came off as a lesser teen. Not as visually dynamic, not as big budget, not as fun as Constantine. I'm talking about with Keanu Reeves, which I love that movie. I'm like, this is a film that's not as good as that. But with the way the story was portrayed as it went on, that's what ultimately made me go, okay, I don't mind the film as a time waster. I do think it got better. I quite liked the finale, which I'll get to when I get more into spoilers. Anton Yelchin, he's likable in the movie. He has a little bit of levity. Like, there's his body that he's got to get out. He's like, listen, I got to roll the world's biggest joint in order to get this thing out of here. And there's horror, but there's humor in it. So there's a fridge, he'll find fingers and teeth and skulls in it. But at the same time, the humor is more levity. There's nothing remotely too goofy or silly that takes you out of the film. I would say if you watch the trailer, if you like Anton Yelchin as an actor, you want to see what he could do in the lead. This, I thought he did a lot better than the Fright Night remake. I thought this one he was a lot more effective as a lead. And this is a better showing of him as a lead actor than the Fright Night remake, which is a total piece of shit. As someone who's just blaring his fucking music, he concurs Fright Night's a piece of shit as well. The remake. Yeah. See, even God himself's like, nah. Fuck this movie. No, don't fuck this movie. Fuck the Fright Night remake. Fuck that movie. I mean, to get more into spoilers starting now, what I said I liked the story as it went on, as it went on, it seemed as if some of the action got better. Like, there's this poltergeist that happens in this house, and this bit of slow-mo where fridges and such are coming at him, and he's having to dive over it, some decent usage of slow-mo. And then finding out that there's more to this plan, and finding out what the plan is, and that it wasn't just an end of the world scenario. It was a shooting, a mall shooting. And the reason he saw these bowling team get shot faceless is because they were there at the mall. And then this other stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate that it wasn't yet another save the world, save the universe type of story, as a stupid dumbass fucking idiot. Yeah, I get it, you have loud fucking speakers. Put your fucking head through it, have your head blow up scanner style, you fucking idiot. If you didn't hear that, someone blaring their fucking stereo as if they're deaf. Get some fucking hearing aids, you fucking putz. God, what a fucking idiot. I was thinking when people playing the goddamn music that loud, when the literal walls are shaking. Give me a fucking break with that stupid shit. How about this? If they can do that, how about me at 2 in the morning go over there 2 feet away from them and play the fucking music, and they can't do anything. They have to sit there and take it throughout the entire fucking night. Let's do that. Did you get back to the review? Okay, sorry. But again, this is the spoiler section. I like the story that it was more about this shooting, and that it's not just 1 or 2, it's 4 people, and then some of them are actually these newer cops, which I felt dumb for not seeing that coming. But then, oh, okay, that makes a bit more sense. And the finale of the film, where it deals with him having to kill these guys and kill these shooters, and then get this bomb because there's a bomb in a van, get that out of it. See, the second half and the finale I thought really saved the film. I thought where the plot got summarized, where it ended up in, was more interesting than I thought it was going to be when it began. And how the bad guys were not supernatural, it was the evil of human beings themselves. Because I guess that's the other thing I assumed, is that, well, he sees dead people and supernatural, there'll be some supernatural menace. No, the invisible creatures, they're not causing it, they're just a sign of bad things to come. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, you assume that they're going to be evil, killing people, unleash all of them, an army. Just the assumption of other films, they would go down that route. That's not the case here. It's literally human beings being evil asshole fucks. This guy's going to stop them. I don't know, that made it a bit more interesting to me. A bit more, it's weird to say relatable, but you know, it's more relatable that we could stop an actual evil person than some supernatural ghost or whatever. And then what happened at the end, again, I felt stupid for not seeing it coming, but I thought it was rather clever. Again, this is super spoilers. We've known that he can see dead people. And he's hailed a hero, and he's with this girl, and then we come to realize that the girl has been dead since that shooting. And it's a very sweet scene that I will say, because Anton Yelchin, Willem Dafoe, who's there, tells him you should let her go, and the girl, they all did their jobs well, and it made me feel for these characters. It made me feel for the lead, and the way the music, and it wasn't too overly sentimental, but it was very sweet and sad and tragic, but it wasn't too depressing in a weird way. And I said, you gotta let her go, man. You gotta let her go. When it got to that, and I'm feeling like, hey, feeling a little bit of here, I'm like, okay, enough of this film worked that I can at least say I don't mind the film. So yeah, I do think it is a film that got better as it went along. That the story got more interesting, that I think some of the action scenes got a bit better. You know, killing the bad guys in the shootout in the mall, driving the van, a little bit of chase there because someone's trying to get in and shoot at him. Before that, the whole poltergeist situation. And the characters got a bit more interesting, and like I said, where the story went to was more intriguing. And so that was less Constantine. Don't get me wrong, I love Constantine, but Constantine was about the end of the world, that stuff. Here, okay, it's going a different route, it's doing its own thing. I appreciate that. So, yeah, while the first half I was a bit unsure about what's going on, I don't think all the effects are the strongest. Like I said, it does seem like a film that I could see why it did not go into theaters. It does seem like a film that would go, well, nowadays would go to Netflix or something of that sort. Patton Oswalt, part of me went, why is he even here? He's in like 2 quick scenes. The movie does play off as if it wants to be a franchise, because the way it ends is like, okay, there's going to be more stories of Odd Thomas. Sadly, that never happened because this film didn't do anything. I'm assuming it was supposed to go into theaters and never did. I don't know the exact reasons for that. But, so then it wasn't successful, then there were no sequels, and then sadly Anton Yelchin passed away. So that definitely ended that. So Patton Oswalt, I think his character is more important in the book, but here he's only in like 1 or 2 scenes, and again, part of me is like, why is he even here? Like, really, you could cut him out. But overall, I didn't mind the film. I did not mind Odd Thomas. Watch it again. So, because I remember I saw this once a long time ago, but I did not remember anything about it. So it was like watching it for the first time. And you know what? Not bad. If you like Anton Yelchin, it's worth a watch. If the beginning's like, I don't know, hang in there. Maybe you still won't like it, but again, I do think it's a film that got better as it went along. With the story, I thought the finale was the best part of it. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We will see you guys later. Bye-bye.